يعملوا بوز.
Hello, Devil. So this is
هيكون
the
يوسف سرحانه.
ancient game, the first one we played yesterday. Um, First round is not a real pistol round
عارف.
يا راد
because Panas is AFK, so we take a timeout, if you remember. But I will still give pointers for the pistol round until we just stay in cave. So here you ended up being a bit slow in spawn, standing behind. Like you take a second to start moving. In the freeze time, you should just hold W, and you would have gotten the initial fight into ramp, but we called to just stall, of course. Here you position yourself poorly after you get the kill. You overexpose yourself. I will show it in a map afterwards how you could have played it better. And now we're just standing in caves, we can just skip the next round. In this round I think you're also indecisive in spawn. You don't really know what you're gonna do. This time you actually moved quite fast. End up rushing B. You're very good playing with the pack. You overexposed yourself in CT. You could have bounced the smoke at the wall instead in CT. Because usually this is really weird that they came from cave and two guys ramp. Usually they will come two guys CT. Very poor position here. You should have stayed elbow. That was your after plant position. Indecisive in spawn again for like 10 seconds. Just wasted doing nothing. Since we called the rush B, you had the best spawn. You would have been getting the entry better. More likely to get the entry than Panes, but Panes is Panes.
خليك معي
Good
بيبو يا
fight,
زلمه.
good positioning. You're holding behind. You realize that I'm highway, so you don't peek. Really, you should have stayed in by the door where you were. You didn't need to push into ramp because it was fully clear. You didn't need to go there. You overexposed yourself in vain. Still
بيبو
again,
بتعرف ليه الناجي؟
you were standing in spawn for no reason. Took you 1 second to start moving. 1-2 seconds. What you should be doing during freeze time is you should pitch, for example, if nothing is being called, like rush B, go A, blah blah blah, if nothing is being called, then it's just default playing. Then you tend to go mid in the default. So what you should do is think of you try to picture the round in your mind. Like, okay, I'm gonna go mid. I will throw this flash to fight mid. I will throw this smoke. I will throw this Molotov to get mid control. That's what you are supposed to be doing in freeze time. Picture how the round will play out. Unless you have a specific spawn. For example, if you have a spawn towards B around this area on the map, if you can see the mouse, then you should take B in the default. You shouldn't go mid, because then you will have the timing on the cave guy and you can win this fight in cave very easily. Same goes for if you have the leftmost spawn. Then you can fight mid with the timing, and you can fight A main with the timing. So at the for example, if you're pushing A main, that's why when I have this spawn, I say, okay, I'm gonna entry A. I go into this corner and I pick into this. I will show you an example. So that is really what you should be doing during freeze time. You should, okay, I have this spawn, I will do this. So based upon the spawn you're having, you should have a default play that you're doing. So that's how you decide what to do. Because what I think you're doing when you're not moving for that second, you're thinking of what you're gonna do, but it should be obvious based on where you are spawning. You didn't end up doing much of anything in that round. Now you were fast. This is like a default call or something. You have a scout, hit the headshot, beautiful. He cannot be Cubby. You saw two players there, so you shouldn't even be worried about Cubby in this situation. What you did when you have a scoped weapon like that, what you do, you can cut the angle. Since you were worried about Cubby, then you should have been scoped on Cubby, so they cannot go Cubby. So having a scoped weapon is effectively like having a, if you're drawing a line across the map. Um, let's see if I can get the map to draw. Pause. Okay, so if you have a scoped weapon, this applies to the AUG and the SG too. So you were worried about Cubby, and you can utilize a scope weapon like a, if you draw a line like this. So you were standing here, and then you can just look into Cubby. And then this is fully clear. For example, if me, Svex, or Panes, Wall 2, is aware that if you're having a scope and you're looking a specific direction, then you know, okay, this is clear, this is safe, because you are looking here. It's like having a smoke grenade. Uh, so yeah, this area will be clear if you're looking at it with the scope. Uh, and that's how the AWP functions too. For example, Svex can post up here and he's looking into Donut. So then you know this area is clear right now. So then you can push up to this and clear left side Donut. So this area is cleared by the AWP. So really it's like a utility weapon if you have a scope. Let's resume. You're spamming the smoke, it's good. Good idea, good nade. You end up hitting him with the nade, it's good. Here it's good. You're taking the fight. You're a bit overexposed.
Ja, ik
Here,
wacht al
here you should fall back to Donut. I think you will die from house, yeah. You weren't aware that we pushed out A. You were too busy fighting here. But the guy rotating, he saw you. Let me get the map. The guy rotating, because we are on A, the call was probably, okay, let's go A. We got the kill, entry towards A. I think I called that. So then the guy, he will rotate here, and you are here. He sees you, and okay, shit, he has a sniper. I'm not gonna take this fight. Logically, he won't take the fight against the scope weapon in this distance. So then you know that he will probably end up going this way, and he does that. So you shouldn't have you shouldn't have even have took this fight. You shouldn't even have seen this guy in the beginning, Because then you should have repositioned and played the after plant from Donut. And then you could have stood here with the scout and hold this angle. Usually you don't play the scout, but it's still very valid on how you position yourself. Like the team is over here, why should you be here? You shouldn't. You should be here. Because then if you die, you can easily be traded by one of the guys. Yeah, so even though you don't have a scout, the weapons still have that utility. It's just not as consistent as having a scope weapon. Yeah, so the after plant situation, you should call. Okay, I will play from Donut. Let's continue. We're fast this time. Good. Now you have a picture in mind of what you're gonna do. This is a good idea since you are alone to not take any engagements. But what you could be doing, you could be jiggling instead of standing in the corner because you don't have information if you're just standing still. You are doing it well, but in order to improve, you need to jiggle. You will gain more information from jiggling than being very static. So you have to AD, 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 you know.
خلاص زيح بقى العماشة
Now you
حمار.
had the B spawn that I mentioned, and you ended up going mid, and that's a wasted B spawn. Because the timing, like the best CT, usually on CT you don't play the spawns like that, not on Ancient at least. We should play the spawns more often on CT, but that's like 2 steps away from us. But on T side we always play the spawns. So if you have the best B spawn as a T, you will always get cave entirely for free. Because he will be at this point where he is right now when you are inside cave. So you will just, or wait, I will get the map out. He will be, the CT player will be around here when you are here as a T, if you have the best B spawn. So if you're spawned here, you run like this, and then the CT player is here, and you can shift up cave, and if he's pushing cave with a bad spawn, you'll get a free kill here. That's what I do when I have the spawn. You're scaling up with Thomas, that is good. Made house, it's a good default. You're expecting this. It's good, but really you should have continued to go with Thomas. Because this is the first thing he will peek from highway. When he's pushing cave, he will peek this, the first thing he does, and it's a really hard engagement to win. It's easier to win in this corner, really, but since Thomas scaled up, you have to be aware that Thomas scaled up into Donut, then you should have been here, and you could have this engagement. It's very more advantageous for you. Next round. Slow in spawn. Like 2 seconds. I didn't take notice of your specific spawn. Here, you should be doing what Patrick did. You should have scaled up to this corner over here, to the right, when Panes was holding elbow. You don't even have to look elbow. You should worry about the CT fight. If there's an op doing this play, Thomas is doing as he should. So Thomas is holding elbow. That allows you to push here. That's what it does effectively. So then you can look into CT until Thomas takes that angle, and then you push into sight. So Thomas with an op is holding this, so then you know this is dead. You cannot be killed from this unless he misses his shot. So you scale up here, Thomas will then advance here, like he just did, look into CT, and that's when you scale up with the entry pathing. The entry pathing on B is always going here, and then you're peeking. If you're entering, you should actually peek dildo and not elbow. So the pathing should be here, looking towards dildo, clearing bucket after you clear this. Or of course you will clear bucket first, most likely. Because when you're entering, what you're trying to do is getting space. You will clear the hard spots, so your teammates don't have to worry about it. Yeah. I didn't pay full attention there. I think you went back to get the bomb or something. Let's just go next round. Still 1 second slow. I don't know why you do this, just hold W in spawn. Just keep holding W if you don't have the buy menu open. Here you can scale up very quickly. You can run all the way here without them knowing. Because I think the timing is you can run here and the CT will be at this point. So maybe he can hear a step, but that's good. That's good in a default. What a default wants to do is show presence. And when you show presence, what will the CT do? The CTs will throw utility to slow you down, so you cannot scale up. Here you shouldn't engage. The guy has a scoped weapon. You shouldn't take this fight. You end up winning, and another scoped weapon kills you. You need to move in between the shots. So what I would have done here, you see this guy here. Okay, then you will take this corner. You can jiggle peek. You have the right side advantage when you're peeking, and he will be holding you with the scoped weapon. You can jiggle, bait the shot out, and then you can either wide peek or you can use your smoke, bounce it off this wall so it will smoke over here, and he will be worried. He will throw all his utility to clear you here, and then you can just wait here. So yeah, you can just play smarter. This was not smart at all. He could have, if he was any better, if that was me you were against, or Svex, or Panes, you would have died instantly. With a scoped weapon like that, he has such an advantage, and you didn't move at all in between your shots. So if you're bursting or tapping, take a step to the left or to the right, so you have a slightly different angle. It's harder to pre-aim you. Next round. I think we are aware of the being slow in spawn thing. The bomb, I think, should be dropped here instead of here. Because if the CTs end up pushing here while we are scaling up slowly on B, then they have the bomb for free. So it's better to either drop the bomb at the box or in the corner. So if they end up pushing highway, they don't see the bomb. Here they can see the bomb if they're pushing highway, but they cannot see it if the bomb is here. Here you should be full out running, unless we called for shift, which I think we did. You did have good crosshair placement, it's unfortunate. It's very good that you try to trade that. It's brave.
قال لي بعد في واحد.
That is your strongest ability. It's trading. I will show you what you can do in mid, because this is just, you're just standing here, you're doing nothing. You're gaining nothing from this.
وراكم.
You are effectively just baiting us, because what you did, you let them, when you play like that, if you're just holding a static position here, you don't have this controlled. When you are playing mid, you want to have this control in the default, the mid area. So what you let them did, this is a prime example what happens. So this specific round they pushed 3 guys up here and you just let them pass. You ended up killing one. One got killed by Patrick or something, I believe. No, Patrick didn't get the kill. But there were 3, right? Maybe Svex killed one, but this shouldn't be a worry if we have one guy mid. Your job is to show your presence so they won't push. If they want to push, then they have to smoke you off, they have to molly you. You have to be a menace to them. Like, they should know your presence. This is just baiting, what you did. You're just hiding. And now we don't have the info that the guy is cave, I think. So X ends up dying. You die too. And now all of a sudden it's a 1 versus 2. It's very winnable for the CT. You see what Svex did? He's showing his presence. You should have pushed with him. You still have a smoke. You could have smoked the Molotov to help him. So now Svex died in vain, and they have full mid control, and they're pushing highway again. It's the same thing that happened last round. You did call it for us, I remember this. But more is to be expected when you are the mid player in the default. Now we have the B spawn, you're running B, it's good. Everyone else is slow in spawn instead. You have the MAC-10. Very good entry pathing, you end up getting the entry. This is perfect. You shouldn't have peeked into CT. I'm not... We have to see this round again, actually. It was very quick. So you have 2 flashes. So what you could have done instead of taking the peak CT, you could have thrown a flash into CT instead of peeking. Because with the MAC-10 you don't have the long range advantage. You don't have an advantage at all in this. What you did is very good, but you shouldn't do this peak. It's very lucky that you end up getting a kill. Because they don't expect you. You saw the guy, he had his Molotov out. You can do this fast peak that you did, but you shouldn't re-peak it. Especially since you're low HP. You could have thrown a flash into elbow to stall. You could have thrown a flash over here. Just throw it anywhere. You could have thrown it here, and it would have blinded the elbow guy possibly, because he would have been at this point when you had the opportunity. Never re-peak, especially if you're low, because then you have this controlled, but now you died, so now we don't have any control. This is our control area, and it's very small. You were perfect up until the re-peak. So what you should have done is just stayed at the pillar, thrown a flash, tried to stall the rotate that's coming in from the CT to maintain this space. But then you died. Actually, you could have pushed into cave, like doing a strafe jump. You get the kill. you re-peek, but then you make a strafe jump. It's very hard, and you will most likely die since you were low, but it's doable. So, for example, now I'm just rambling. You could have, you peeked, you got the kill, right? Then what you could have done, you saw a second guy, so then you throw a flash to stall him, and then you go into cave, and then you throw a flash into elbow or over here or some shit. Then you are in a very good after plant situation. You have cleared up this space all of a sudden, all by yourself. But up until the repeak, everything was perfect. It was textbook entry fragging. Good job.
Bomb A, B.
Now Patrick calls go A or something. But this is good that you took the right side instead of the left side because you have a MAC-10. Realistically, you cannot fight from the left side with the MAC-10. So it's a good decision. Very good shifting. Getting the entry again this round. What you should have done, instead of staying static by here, you were way out in the open. Way out. You could have gone into Brookie. This position is called Brookie. And if you crouch at this point and look into here, you will have a headshot angle all of a sudden. Or even you can push into Temple, but they will pre-fire you, so it's a lot harder. And you can more easily be traded if the CT is here. But this is a very much an off angle. I think you've seen me clutch where I crouch here and get a kill cave and then I can just peek onto sight. So that's what you should have been doing, because then you are clearing all this space. Now what you did, you stood here, and of course if temple is clear, this is a good position. But you, because then you can use this box as cover, going left, back and forth. Or actually, you could have gone back A main and played the after plant from there. So keep that in mind. You have to either here or here. Especially since we don't have a guy temple, this would be the optimal position for you to take. Crouch down, look into cave. You have a huge off angle. They will just see your head when they're going out. And you get the jump on them. So you have a 65% win in this duel compared to if you're playing here and the guy comes temple, you have 45%. So it's just playing the percentage.
واحد لو.
Pistol round, a bit slow. One. If you weren't slow in spawn, you could have been at this point already. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. You don't want to stand static like this. This is the first thing they will see. You should have rotated a bit earlier. It ended up good anyway, but it could have gone horribly wrong if we didn't hit our shots on sight. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Now you're gaining nothing. If you're in donut, usually what you want to do is get into this position, because then you can hear people stepping You can hear them step here, here. You can hear them here, because usually the T's, they will step up until this point. That's like the default way of doing. So if they're late into mid, then you will hear it and you can call it. From here, you cannot hear shit, but you have, so like I said on overpass, rolling reposition, a perfect way to play donut would be you position here, you get all the sound cues. So let's say you're playing from here, they peek you, and you get a couple of shots off. You don't have to get the kill. So then you can throw a smoke here, and they will be very worried about donut. And then you go to this position. So then they will have to hard clear this. They will throw a Molotov, they can throw a flash, they can throw a smoke, I don't know. They will have to put pressure on you, but you are not there anymore, you are here. So then you have the slight advantage in this duel because they expect you to be playing from around this area. And then what you can do after this, you can fall back to here. And same thing there. Then you can throw a Molotov to stall even further. And then you push into CT. And then you're just being a menace. At this point you should have gotten one kill or something. So starting position should be here in Donut. You get the most info. You get a couple of shots here. You probably won't get the kill. It's a very hard angle. But you should jiggle from here as a default. And then fall back to where you are standing right now. Jiggle, fall back to here, jiggle, fall back to here, jiggle. Jiggle, 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 jiggle. I cannot say it enough. I will keep saying it. Now you heard him aim, so you can stop the plant. He doesn't expect you at all. Really, the optimal thing when you heard the steps there, you take contact on the right side, because then you can reposition this way. So let's say he's pushing out and he's at this area when you are here. You can shoot him when he's here instead of here. So you will see him way earlier if you're hugging the right side wall. And then you are also in a better position to fight this. So let's say you are here, he will come here, you shoot, you miss your shots, then you can go left. And then you can jiggle and have the right side advantage versus his left side. Again here, jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Now he's out. You were a bit slow on that one. You shouldn't have shifted because he will hard clear donut anyway. So you might as well step and get the better position. So you can be close. You could have been standing up here, for example. You could have jumped up there and have the drop on him. Slow in spawn. It's getting annoying at this point for you, I think. Here, actually, you could have scaled up A main. But now we got the info B. You see here, who's in donut right now? Number 6. That's Patrick. You see, he's taking this position that I mentioned earlier. Now you are a bit indecisive. Where should I go? you end up having a good timing into sight. You should have thrown the Molotov. You were very exposed. So here, I remember this round actually. I was, because I didn't like how you play this. You are rotating in. Your instant reaction should be throw the Molotov. That will stall them. You can also throw a smoke here. That will gain you space. And they will have to, like I said, if you throw a smoke or a Molotov, the T's will have to put their attention there. They will have to throw their HE grenade that this guy has. But instead of throwing the Molotov instantly, you ended up staying very, very exposed. And you still are very exposed. Now you have a stronger position. You flash. You shouldn't take this fight because Patrick is over here. You should wait for him. And then you should, when you see that he's sneaking up cave, like, I'll get the drawing board again. So the optimal thing when you're rotating in, throw the Molotov to sight, smoke here, or even here. And then what you do, you just wait in this area or behind this box. And you wait until Patrick is at this point. And then you start creeping up together from different angles. Then you take the initiative and say, I will take first contact or you take first contact. But they probably they saw you in CT. They know you are CT because you throw the utility. So you should take the first contact because they don't expect Patrick. They do expect him, but it's not as obvious like that you are here because you threw the utility in the optimal play. So you call, I take first contact, Patrick. Don't peek cave until I have taken the first point of contact. So it was winnable 2 versus 3. Not very winnable, let's be real. But it could have looked very differently. We could have damaged their economy pretty good. So now Patrick will just have to save. I don't think he does that. He tries to take the fight. Not the best decision by him. Now we push mid.
Push.
Good decision on trying to fight highway with me. But now you just don't know what to do. You're smoked, so I don't blame you. Since you were already committed up there. Now here we should try to coordinate. You saw me CT. Like if you looked at the minimap, you didn't have to look where you looked. You just wasted time. You need to be more active with your movement and jiggle, because then you could have baited the shots and be a harder target for him. And I could have been in a better position. You had a bad timing. So we could have coordinated this retake better. Of course, we don't have good weapons or anything, but it still applies to all retakes.
اتفضل ما مصدق.
You need to be more dynamic when you play. I will show you in the offline map. Because you can use your utility so well. And here you didn't clear this. You would have died unless Patrick pushed the A main. You need to clear these positions better when you're pushing up like that. You really have to hard clear this because there's usually a guy standing here like you do. Now on T side. Like, I can say it's good positional play with the facts in hand, but um, in game it's not good position. Because, like I said earlier, you want to take the deep donut and then rolling repositioning. He held W, you should have been an easy kill for him there. You get your Molotov out, very good. Very good response. This is how you should act. You should have stayed donut and not go for this fight. It ends up being really good, you hit your shots, but you cannot count on how, like you had a very strong position in donut still, but cause so the T's they are here, and you end up you Molotov. Actually, now thinking about it, it's really good that you try to peek behind the Molotov because you have the advantage since you have the Molotov settings, but you shouldn't have stayed here. You could have gone tempo. Personally, I would have stayed donut, get the peek behind the Molotov, gone back donut because I wouldn't have been aware that Panes was in donut. But watching the demo, it was well played. Throw the Molotov, try to get the kill, go back to temple, or and jiggle from temple. Then we have a really strong sight hold. I'm here, Panes is here, you are here. If you press your inspect key on the knife when you're running, you will gain an advantage when you're running. Again, jiggling, 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 jiggling. This is very slow jiggling. They could have timed you in between. Good shot. You died with full utility set. You could have, I will show you in offline server what you can do instead of mentioning it here. Oh wait, sorry. Let's do this round again. I zoned out.
تفضل تفضل.
End up going B. The Molotov is a good idea, but I don't know. After I talked with Mr. Sankala, he said try to hold on to your Molotov as much as possible. Especially, you know, this wasn't a rush. People were dying on the other side of the map, so you could have had your Molotov for the retake instead. We end up rotating in. Unfortunate that you didn't win that engagement. You did the right thing. You peeked out before the op. You just missed your shots. There's not much you can do. Hey, we actually lose this round. Here you don't have any information at all. You can jiggle. I think you need to get a new keyboard or something if that's the problem.
هلا
Because you are committed for way too long when you do your jiggle. You need to go back and forth, like really quick. There you could have died. You just need to practice your jiggling. You can do it in procedurally generated. You have the right idea of rotating like this. The guy in donut heard you probably. Now you're shifting around the corners. You should peek. You know you don't make sound when you peek. So since he's not peeked, he doesn't kill you, but a better player, he would have killed you a few seconds ago. Now you shifted up to the corner. And that's not what you want to do. You want to peek properly. This is also what you get in procedurally generated.
كبلك فلاش.
My flash here was horrible. Otherwise it was a good push. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Now you're just giving up mid totally. Because you as a donut player, the guy playing red room, he will be smoked off 9 out of 10 times, and then he cannot do much. So it's your objective as a donut player to be a menace in mid. I will show you in the offline map again how you can achieve this. You play it the same way. You need to stay unpredictable. You can play rolling reposition from here. You can throw a smoke here and try to take cubby. There's a lot of things you can do. You can even change your pathing and go red room with Svex and try to fight. You can throw a flash here, try to fight them, throw a Molotov for Svex, throw a smoke, and just stall this way better because you're not achieving much by doing this every round. Again, jiggling. Let's speed it up. Oh yeah, we win this round. Here, even though we got the kills, you are very slow to react to that we killed people mid. You should take when we start getting kills, you need to be here and be ready to trade. So it's just experience. Next time this happens, if we kill mid from highway, just go here. Then you are way closer. You are on your way, but you could have done it 2 seconds earlier. As soon as you start shooting and calling mid, you should be close to the corner. Now you scale up. Because then what you could have done, we kill mid. Instantly you go here, be ready to trade if there's even more, and we die. Then you are ready to trade us. And in this situation, you should have kept pushing here. Because what you want to do, this is something I haven't said much, but it is a integral part of Counter-Strike. Patrick clearly doesn't know this either, but if you get the call, they are mid, we get 2 kills there. We need to take map control of this position or A main to exclude, and we can rotate more easy. Because now we are not positioned well. They are 3 versus 2, really, going into me and Panes. We end up winning anyway. But if you push here, then we have mid fully control, 100% control. Then Svex, he can rotate into B. Patrick can push into A main and clear it, and we can conclude they will most likely go B. So, for example, on Mirage is a good example. If we call the A players call, okay, one is Palace, one is Ramp. I hear people stepping mid. Then it's most likely a split. So you as a B player, you should push apps, and this applies to every map. Because then at tops there will be one guy here. You will take the fight, and you have this fully controlled, and we can focus on this area of the map, and you can be a menace here. And they will, if they end up rotating back, they will have to burn a lot of utility to clear you and a lot of manpower. So, yeah. That is GG. Cap is closing the game together with Panis. It's actually really nice. Here you have a flash on the fly that I'm doing. Yeah, fuck. I will show you before we end. So you know how I don't have any lineups for my flashes. Like barely. Very barely. I just throw it. Let's speed it up. Panes is focusing mid, so okay, I will focus on lobby. And this is the position in pistol round. It's very strong. Only your head is visible. It's very hard to hit your head because it will be bugged behind this wall, so it's very hard to kill you. Now I ask Panes to scale up. So I will flash. This is just on the fly flash. Just logic. Okay, I will have to flash there to help him. And then I take this position again. It's very hard for him to clear. And I kill him. And that's it for the demo. Let's go into the map. So, based on spawn, you want to have a default play. So for example, if you have mid spawn, then you want to make a play towards mid. And in a default, what you want to do is show your presence. And what does showing presence achieve? It achieves slowing down rotations. So let me get some utility. You're running up mid, you can jiggle. This is how you jiggle. You do like this. You need to go fast. So that's how you jiggle. But if you are the mid player, then you want to be a menace in mid. Because some rounds they didn't even Molotov and you still were back here. So then you can just, when you're running out, you can bounce a smoke here. Then boom, you have all this space behind the smoke. So you can throw a smoke like this. Right click a flash. Boom, you're out mid. And you have way more control. You can even fucking bounce a smoke along this wall. And then you gain even more space. House is virtually, it's smoked. If you're fast with this, with the mid spawn, they will be at the stairs, so they have a hard time seeing you. And it's hard to hit the shots if you're strafe jumping out. This is an alternative. This is an alternative for your smoke. You can... Yeah, that's the usage of your smoke. Then you have the flash. Like I said, if you're doing the smoke, you can just right click it through the smoke. You can bounce it off the wall and peek up close here. You can throw it here to support your team. Let's say if you're two guys mid, then you can just flash behind them like this. Just crouch flash. So you really have to be more proactive with your utility. Also example, you have the mid and A main spawn. Then you want to go A main, you show your presence. Here's the Molotov. And then you can just run all the way here. You can take a quick peek towards A main. Okay, there's no one here. Then what I like to do, I just smoke it off. So now I can scale up safely into this corner. And then if you do this every round, throw a smoke like that. In the beginning, they will be very scared of it. But then after 4 rounds in a row that you do it, then you can sneak around the smoke all of a sudden. And they will be like, okay, well, you will get a free kill because they started disrespecting the smoke. They noticed that, okay, this smoke is here. He hasn't done anything with this smoke. So then he won't expect you to come here in round number 4 or 5. I like to mix it up if I'm going A main. I throw the Molotov to stop the push. I aggressively peek into the boxes, clear it in case they are peeking with a rifle. If there's an AWP, I don't want to do this unless I have an AWP. Throw the smoke, something like that. This is just a mix-up, so this is round number 6 or something. Then you can throw the smoke like that. You can throw a flash here. You flashed yourself in, and now you have a site. You also have this Molotov to clear behind site boxes. So there's a lot you can achieve with just using the utility yourself. You can even throw the smoke, and then you can chuck a Molotov behind the boxes, and you will achieve so much out of this. So much. Going back to the mid example, let's say you are 2 or 3 guys pushing out. You can throw a smoke here. You right click this one, and then you get the kill in red room. You expect a guy donut, then you can use your Molotov here. Then you can flash behind here, try to peek into donut. You can even flash like this. You don't have to be smart, you just have to be quick with the utility. Before you do anything, use your utility, because that's how you gain the advantage on them, if you have no advantage. Because this is a 50-50 fight, but if you use your utility, you suddenly have 55 or 60% chance of winning. With the B spawn, then you will be running up. What I like to do, I show my presence. Here's a flash. Hello everybody. And then I can flash into cave like this. And then I will fight. If you have the best spawn, like I said, you will be at this point when he is over here. So then you can just shift from this point, and I like to take an angle like this. So if he decides to push, this is hard to clear, because if you're coming here, you are worried about this, then you're clearing this, and then boom, here you are. So he will jiggle in and out. But mechanically, your aim is fine, your crosshair placement is fine. The jiggling, not fine. It's non-existent. Because like I said, this is your jiggling. But this is how you jiggle. You don't have to be precise. Because and in between shots, you want to shoot, go in, try to stay close to cover always. And you have to be more consistent with your after plants. So there was this specific Mac 10 round where you pushed here, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I will go ramp. And then you die at this point or something. But in the after plant, stay where you are. Wherever you are, just stay there. Doesn't matter. So you don't have a set position. It's not like, oh, we don't have a guy ramp anymore. He died. Yeah, you shouldn't go there then. You should stay in your position and play with the walls. They are your cover. They are your best friend. Um, Also, here we have the flash that I like to do. You throw it when your teammates are here, and it doesn't blind anyone. I will demonstrate. I have the left-handed view model, so I line up my hand, the point finger, with the box here. It probably even works with right side view model. You just do like this. It lands in the same spot, and it doesn't even blind anyone down here actually. So you just line up your view model with the box, and you have a good pop flash. There is also a carrigan flash. You throw it over here. And then of course, if you have a smoke and you ramp, you can just throw it to elbow. It's not perfect, but it gains a lot. Or you can even throw it, bounce it off this thing. I think I did it yesterday. Just bounce it here, and it just lands on the fly. You just have to get comfortable. Actually, that's a pretty good elbow smoke. Just on the fly, you just bounce. It's just basic geometry. If I throw it here, it's like if you played pool or something. This is also even a good smoke, because you will push behind it. You can throw a flash. Also on entry pathing on B, what you want to do, you run out, you will clear bucket. Like if you're the first guy in, you want to be like this: CT, dildo, bucket, CT, elbow, and then yeah. In the round you were entering, you did very good up until this point. You peaked here with a Mac 10. It worked this time. It's better to do it with an AK, but you could have thrown a flash before you did it. You had 2 flashes and you died with 2 flashes, so you didn't gain anything. You can just throw flashes anywhere. It doesn't matter if you blind your teammates. Who cares? No one fucking cares. Like, it's to be expected. Might as well have been the CTs who flashed. So you blind your team, but we have the sight. If the CTs get blind while we are here, they will not fucking peek into us on sight. But we have the sight, if you know what I'm saying. So it doesn't matter. That's what I do. I just throw it. I don't give a fuck. But I, of course, try to make it so it doesn't blind the team. But in this specific situation, just throw it. You have 2 flashes, use them. Flashes are the most underrated utility in the game. And you can just do more things on the fly. For example, let's go more CT side. This is the default donut play. It should be. You go to this corner, you can jiggle in and out. They're peeking you, you get 1 shot. So then what you can do is you can bounce a smoke like this or some shit. Okay, this needs some practice, I'm guessing. You can throw it like this, I don't know. Or you just try to jump into this position, smoke it off from here. And then you can jiggle here, and they will have to clear this spot before they fight this spot. So they will burn their utility fighting this, but you are here, so it doesn't matter. So then here you are more likely to get the kill. Way more likely. You can, and then you get the kill. You fall back to this point. And at this point you can throw a Molotov. You can peek behind it. So that's rolling repositioning. Then you can even fall back to the site box if you have a partner on site, or you can go here. So now you had 5 positions all of a sudden. That's the path you should have. Start here. You can even move here. That's 2 positions, 3 positions, 4 positions, 5 positions, 6 positions is how you should play it. And you should try taking the mid route more often to support the mid player. And how you do this, you can throw a Molotov like this. And then you can smoke like this just to block it off. You can throw a flash behind the boxes to stall them. This won't even blind you, so you don't really have to turn away. So let's say you don't have much utility, you want to save your utility for later. The cheapest way to take mid as a CT is just running here. When you come to this point, throw a flash, and if they're pushing you aggressively, they're dead. Because you fully blinded them. Also from Donut, what you can do, for example, you can even play rolling reposition like this. Because let's say, like I said in the demo, Swex, or he will, 7 out of 10 times he will be smoked off from here. He cannot do anything. So then you are the mid player. So you can even default your position to be up here, and then you can jiggle onto highway. And then let's say you start hearing people stepping over here, you can just right click a smoke and they will respect the smoke. This specific smoke had a gap, so you can take advantage of this one. You can go here, take a more risky position. You can throw a flash behind the boxes and peek behind the smoke. You can use your smoke. Like, this is just the default way to win this space. This is your map control. You have this space. This is your control. But if you're not smoking anything, you're not controlling anything. Because you cannot just control it without utility. That's the reason utility is here. Yeah. So, you can smoke, you can flash behind the box. You can Molotov onto highway so you don't get peeked from there. You can nade it behind the smoke, fall back, take a more passive position, jiggle. Yeah, just be more proactive and more creative with your ability. It will win you rounds, it will win you games, you will improve as a player. It's your top priority. Jiggle peeking and utility usage. Your utility usage is basically non-existent. You only use it as a last resort, but it should be your first resort. What else? If you have good spawn, you can push into A main. And there is actually a quite nice play you can do with the HG grenade in A main. You throw it like this, and it will blow here, and you can peek behind the smoke. You will be fully invisible to them most of the time. So just go here, throw it, and you peek. Or you can throw a Molotov here, you clear, so they cannot push you from that side. And you peek quite aggressively, or you just take a spot like this or something. You can even Molotov here. Now this is clear. You can throw a smoke here. And now you have full A main by being aggressive. You need to put more aggression into your play. You are very passive, very static, very predictable watching you play. Yeah, and then donut. Yeah. On B, if you have the best spawn, it should be around here. Then you will be here when the T's are there. So the CTs will always beat the T best spawn. The best CT spawn beats the T best spawn. That's why I'm not excelling so much in cave anymore, because they changed the spawns. That's why I'm not as strong at this map that I used to be. Because earlier I could just dominate from here. And then what you do? Molotov. Now we have full cave control. And then after the Molotov, you can right click. You can take a position here. You can take a position here. You can take a position here. This is very exposed. I only do this when I know they are bad. In ramp, you can throw a Molotov like this, and before the Molotov dissipates, you can throw a smoke on it, and you can sneak up on the smoke. Looking at the boost, you can ask for a flash, and boom, you are behind the smoke, and you get 3 kills. The flash will come up here or something. And the way you throw, like this lineup, you know, you just come out of CT, line up with the palm. You know this. And then you just combo it with a smoke, and then you ask for a flash. Usually I'm playing B, like 10 out of 10 times, really. And I know I just throw a flash like this. It's not more complicated than that. And it will blind everyone here. So yeah, there's no lineups for anything. Just throw it. If your team, because every game, it's not a major final. We are practicing. That's what we're doing. We're having fun. Okay, of course we want to win, but we cannot improve if we don't take the risks, right? So, okay, you failed your flash. So what? You flashed your teammate. He dies. Yeah, that's on you. But you learn from it. You improve from it. So I think that's it. This will be like fucking 2 hours or some shit. Yeah. Bye bye.